Hey there YouTube lovers, my name is BB8 and today I am going to share my concept for the Splatoon 3 paid DLC. The idea I have come up with may not be a realistic outcome for the paid DLC, but it was fun to come up with anyway, so I thought, we already know paid DLC is coming thanks to the Splatoon 3 Direct, but they did say it was going to be large scale though, and I thought it was really difficult to come up with large scale DLC for this, so I thought, why not introduce DLC that brings new playable species to the game? And I like what they did with Splatoon 2 Octo expansion by making Octolings playable. I thought, why not introduce a new playable species, or two, or three, to Splatoon 3 to make the game a bit more unique. And having this could add more customization options to your character as well. And without further ado, let's get into it, shall we? To start off, we have the three individual waves I have come up with for the Splatoon 3, the Turf War Pass. The Turf War Pass will consist of 3 waves. Each wave in the DLC will introduce new campaigns to play that you can play through, starring the new playable species, Agent 7, Agent 9, and Agent 13. I will get to 10, 11, and 12 in a sec. And once you have completed the campaigns, you can play as the new species in any mode that you desire. And each wave will introduce some new online modes, which are a first to the ones who own the Turf War Pass, or have it through Nintendo Switch Online Plus expansion pack, since I would see this DLC being available to expansion pack members, similar to how Splatoon 2 Octo expansion was. And since Splatoon 3 does involve online play, I do see it being a part of the expansion pack. And for Wave 1, we have Operation Salmonling Heist. In this campaign, you play as Agent 7, who is a Salmonling. The Salmonling species weren't heard of by the public until after multiple sightings from Inkopolis citizens had been reported. The DLC starts off with a salmon run occurring, and once the salmon run was done, a leftover salmonid egg floats out off the shore. And meanwhile, Sailor Cuttlefish, aka Captain Cuttlefish's brother, is fishing out in open water and noticed something odd hit the boat. A salmonid egg with an inkling-like body inside, which is unusual. Sailor Cuttlefish takes in the egg and it hatches. A Salmonling is inside the egg. A Salmonling unaware of the outside world and Inkopolis itself. And Sailor Cuttlefish takes the Salmonling in, and then it shows a montage of Cuttlefish raising it. It then cuts to years later when Salmonling is at an average Inkling age. And Cuttlefish gets a radio call from his brother, Captain Cuttlefish, saying, "Are they ready yet, Agent 7? And then Sailor Cuttlefish sails to an abandoned oil rig, and that acts as the tutorial area for the DLC. Once you have completed the tutorial, you and Sailor Cuttlefish bump into Captain Cuttlefish and Pearl. Since it was confirmed that Pearl and Marina would pop up in the DLC, but unfortunately, in Wave 1, it's just Pearl on her own. And Pearl confirms that it's not concert season, and at the moment, so she isn't with Marina, as Marina is doing her own thing elsewhere, confirming that the Makoling Voyage and Operation Salmonling Heist takes place at the same time as each other. And Captain Cuttlefish reveals that oil rigs are being built all over these seas, and salmonids are all over the place as of late, and the salmonids are dealing damage to the environment, and the air is not sustainable because of them. And in the DLC, you'll have to infiltrate the oil rigs built by the salmonids in no set order at all, in order to stop Inkopolis from becoming a fully place full of unstable energy. I feel like a plot like this could have a message for the environment as well. And the new modes introduced to Salmon Run would end up being Salmon Run Endless, which would work just like Salmon Run in the base game, but the run keeps going until your team gets eliminated. And Salmon Run Apocalypse, and in this mode, you are one of the last people standing in Inkopolis after the Salmonid invasion, and you and your team have to survive in Inkopolis itself for as long as you can before the Salmonids take you. So this literally acts as a zombies mode for the game. Since I do like zombies modes in my games for some reason, and I do feel like Salmon Run has sort of become a zombies mode, but adding some sort of endless mode to Salmon Run might spice things up a bit. And with the upcoming Big Run event, as it's not happened as I've recorded this, the Big Run event that is going on for a limited time only is spicing up Salmon Run as it is already. And if Salmonlings were to become a new playable species within the game, Big Run would become so interesting with this new species. For Wave 2, we have the Makoling Voyage. In the Makoling Voyage, you play as Agent 9, who is a Makoling. Makolings were seen as deadly species by Inkopolis themselves, and not one Makoling had been spotted in Inkopolis for years, after a whole band of Makoi pirates raided Inkopolis for gold. The DLC starts off on an isolated island from the rest of the Splatoon world. The society does consist of Inklings and Octolings, but they were raised on the island their entire lives, so they weren't aware of Inkopolis' existence, and the Makoling is unaware of Inkopolis as well, and is an outcast to the villagers of the island. Then, Captain Makobeard, who is the antagonist of this wave, and his wave of Makoi pirates start raiding the island. Everyone in the village starts hiding in their homes in fear that something might get stolen, and Captain Makobeard steals the island's most valuable possession, being the Rainmaker Gauntlet. A gauntlet so powerful that it can perform a more powerful Rainmaker attack. And once the Makoi pirates have gone, everyone in the island sees that the village has been destroyed, and another pirate ship is there, and you see Marina on board. You then get recruited by Marina as she explains the whole Makobeard situation to you. And Marina's ship acts as your base, similar to how Deep Sea Metro Train acted as your base in the Octo expansion, And in this DLC, you have to raid each individual Makoid pirate base in order to find clues on where the Rainmaker Gauntlet is before Captain Makobeard uses it to summon the Makoid raid on all of Inkopolis. And the new modes will consist of the Mako raids being similar to river raids from Assassin's Creed Valhalla, but where you hop on a boat with 3 other players and you have to raid 3 different Makoid villages which are all connected with one river. And with Mako raids Endless, which does work the same way as Mako raids, but is an endless version of the Mako raids mode. And with Splatoon not having sharks in that universe, and with Makos being a type of shark, I thought, why not add Makolings as species in the DLC? And for Wave 3, sorry for that typo again, the Phantom Society. In the Phantom Society, you play as Agent 13, who is a Vampling. Coming from an unknown society, which does blend Inkopolis with Talokan from Black Panther, Wakanda Forever, just without the Mayan elements in them. So, the Phantom Society would end up being an underwater city kilometers underneath the water, and the Squidbeak Splatoon have been onto them for quite a while, and with a Vampling living in a cave on its own, doesn't really know anything about the society at all. And until the captain, who was Agent 3 in Splatoon 1, ends up recruiting them, and they become Agent 13. Agent 13 arrives in the underwater headquarters of the Squidbeak Splatoon. The other agents, Callie, who's Agent 1, Marie, who's Agent 2, the new Agent 3, the character you played as in Splatoon 3 Story Mode, Agent 4 from Splatoon 2 Story Mode, Pearl, who's Agent 5, Marina, who's Agent 6, Agent 7 is the character you played as in Operation Salmonling Heist, Agent 8 being Octoling from Splatoon 2 Octo Expansion, Agent 9 being the Makoling from the Makoling Voyage, Shiva, who's Agent 10, Fry, who's Agent 11, and finally Big Man, who's Agent 12, with all of them in a conference meeting about this new mysterious society that is kilometers underwater. And Captain Cuttlefish says in a rough voice, "The Phantom Corporation, a team full of Vamplings and Octolings that want to start a war between Inkopolis and the Phantom Society. In the DLC, you have to go down to the society whilst doing a variety of missions along the way to find out what the Phantom Corporation is up to and to stop their plans from taking over the surface and Inkopolis. And this probably will never happen, but Splatoon, like the first one, getting a remaster in the DLC. Because we have seen remasters of old games get remastered with Ubisoft titles, like we have seen Far Cry 3 Blood Dragon within Far Cry 6. So I do think Nintendo should offer old games with the DLC, and offering remasters with them, kind of like offering an X and Y remaster with the Scarlet and Violet DLC. Yeah, that would probably be a grab for me, but remastering the first Splatoon, I do think could be a win-win for some people, in case some people are curious on where the franchise started off. And this will be a first to people who buy the Turf War Pass. Which means the only way you can get it is if you buy the Turf War Pass, but you can buy it individually at a later date. And which means the game would be enhanced compared to the original and upscaled. Look at the story mode, and you get to play Turf Wars in its original form as well. And finally, to end it off, we have the release structure. The Turf War Pass would end up being revealed in the February of 2023 Nintendo Direct, and would consist of 3 waves, each wave having a new playable species and a campaign to play through. They only reveal one of them, but the other 2 get revealed down the line. And the first wave would release in March of 2023. And with the DLC taking a Smash Bros. Ultimate Mario Kart 8 Deluxe approach, meaning that the contents are kept secret until it's actually time to reveal them, adding a bit of suspicion to what each new species is going to be within the game. The second wave would end up being revealed at E3 of 2023 for a July release slate. And the new Splatoon update will also be shown off, as well as the new modes that will be featured in the DLC, and the new playable species known as the Makolings, which you do have to buy the Turf War Pass for it. And the third wave would end up being revealed in the September Nintendo Direct for a late October release slate, just in time for Halloween, with the theming of the DLC they went for here. And the trailer also shows off the last major update for Splatoon 3 to go alongside the third wave of the DLC. So guys, what did you think of my Splatoon 3 DLC concept? I know it wasn't really that packed compared to like my other videos, but it was just DLC for Splatoon 3. It wasn't really supposed to be that packed, but anyways, don't forget to subscribe to my channel, like this video, and turn your notification bell on so you don't miss another video like this one. And with it being the 5th anniversary of me getting my Nintendo Switch today, like the original, not the OLED, but it was 5 years ago today since I actually got it, as a reminder for some reason. But I will see you all in a future video. BB8 out.